Hi, everybody. I know I'm late for the update, so I apologize for that. And I know some of you were concerned when you didn't hear from me yesterday. To be honest with you, I was a little bit concerned yesterday myself because, as you know, over the weekend I had developed an infection. So I want, oh, son of a gun, the cane arrived. I never saw the box before this. I'm going to have to open that. So I will definitely show it to you. That I was a little concerned that it hadn't been here, so at least I'll have a chance to set it up and work with it a little bit, so that should be good. Wow, that was really so great. Okay, went to the doctor yesterday. I was a little concerned. I prayed that I could make it because I was not feeling well for days. Hi, Gail. Oops, hold on a second. The problem that I had was that I had, hi Myra, I had a fever and I was taking antibiotics and I was having crazy kind of symptoms from both. So I had a few nights that were really bad, and it got me depressed because I was so excited about the progress I was making, at least with physical therapy. It's good to see you too, Paula. One of the things that happened yesterday when I went to the doctor's office was, I was in a lot of pain and my leg was killing me. And let's see, had I already started? I think I had already started with the Keflex. I think so. And the Keflex was not working very well for me, and it had the most bizarre side effects on me. And I decided when I took it again last night, I was going to try it one more time. And I had a big surprise yesterday. Well, let me tell you about the doctor first. So I got to his office. They took us relatively quickly. And the nurse took a look at everything and she said, "Oh, you poor thing, it really is bothering you." I'm so glad you did catch me live, Robin. It's great to see you. So I'm going to have to catch up with you too and see what's happening in your world. But the doctor said he was taking out the drain no matter what. He said it's got to come out. I showed him how it was oozing all over. I could not keep the wound site dry because the nurses they just were not changing. Hello. The nurses just were not changing the dressing, so it was a serious problem for me. So what I finally did was, I said, okay, is this going to hurt? And they said, no, it's not going to hurt. Well, it didn't hurt in the traditional sense. It hurt. The actual pulling out of the drain was a relief. Though it always amazes me, it always feels like a routine with a clown, where they pulling and pulling and pulling, and you never expect it to be that long or that big. At the very end of the tube, hi, it's good to see you, Rita. The very end of the tube, there was blood in it, and there was like sludge. But that was just the very end of it. The rest of it was looking clear. So that was good. What had happened was, when the doctor took a look at my thigh, he said, "What is this?" He said, "You have he said, "You see this area of your inner thigh that feels," hi Pam, "that feels hard?" He said, "Why it feels swollen and hard is because that is a huge pocket of fluid." Now it's interesting because it's nice to see you, Barbara, and I will catch up with you, I promise. The last few days, as I say, were terrible. But he seemed concerned, and what he did was, now he already had taken the drain out, so now I had this open hole. And what he did was, he said, "I'm going to press on that and push out as much of the fluid as I can, and you should, and we'll work on it." It was hard. He pressed hard. I realized afterwards how important it was for him to get it out, because it was an infection in the making. I was worried about me too, Jen. I really, truly was. Because to get the infection, to not know what was going on, that site where the scab came off, the last part of the wound where he did the skin graft, well, it wasn't a skin graft, it was a flap, where he did the pedicle flap, there was one tiny area that had a big scab on it. The scab never came off. So finally, yesterday, the scab, it had, day before, it had come off quite a bit, and the nurse sort of worked the rest of it out, but it looked very pussy to me. Everybody here said, no, that's not pus, that is slough. So I wasn't sure whatever it was, I was sick, and it was not working for me. So after he pushed out as much as he could, truly the size of my thigh was half the size that it had been the day before and for a long time. It still hurts, it's sore as hell, but then again, he sort of pushed. And he said to me, keep manipulating it. He said, you can put pressure on it, he said, and you can massage it. Because he said you want to get as much out as you can while the thing is still open. He said after that your body should absorb the rest of it. And I thought, okay, so I'm trying to do that. Hi Maureen, I'm so happy that you did catch me live. I keep telling your story, by the way, it just blows me away. So here I am sitting there. I mean, I probably look a little indecent because I'm sitting there with my hand on the inside of my thigh, pressing on it, trying to get it to move because, as I told Sheila last night, I don't have the warden helping me out, so I have to do it on my own. My leg was the red area that was hot and red, and when I had the fever, had grown by the time I left his office yesterday until late in the day. But in all fairness, I never did my afternoon therapy. And what happened was I had a surprise visitor. When I came back from the office appointment, I was just getting out of the car. Linda was loading me into the wheelchair, and I got a call, and it was from Meredith from Colorado. So I had actually been talking to her the day before when I had that bizarre reaction. Hi, Anne. Oh, I'm so glad that you do watch all the time. You've been enjoying it. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so it was Meredith, and she said to me, where have you been? And I said, well, I went to the doctor. And she said, I know you have not been here for 3 hours. And I said, been here? I was shocked. Hi, Dolores. She was upstairs just outside my room. So she had called before. She didn't tell me she was coming in. She had told me she had these dates available, but I certainly, as she said, I probably would have done. I would have said, don't come in, you know, just I'm still here and whatever. But she wanted to help, so she did. And she was actually here yesterday for a good part of the time that I was not in good shape, and I was really frightened. Hi, Maria. Shh, I won't tell if you don't tell. Oh, yeah, I have to tell you, it's interesting. They gave me all kinds of dressings. They got everything done. And yeah, the surprise was that I had a visitor from one of you from Colorado, and I totally did not expect it, and here I was. So she said it really bothered her when nobody was going to try out the chairs for me. So she went to the store, she tried out the chairs, she went to pick up some things that I needed for me, including cotton balls to take off, yes, to take off my nail polish, which I haven't done yet, but I will do it today. So I got all of, a lot of things done with her, but as the day wore on, I was getting more and more nervous. I have to go back for a minute. When I was leaving the doctor's office, his nurse, whom I adore, came over to me and she said to me, somebody was watching out for you. She said, it's a good thing you came in today. And they really needed to take out the drain. It's not their fault the drain didn't come out. He wanted to take it out. The problem was when I was in Glen Cove, they wouldn't let me out of the hospital. And once I got here, he was not available, so I had the appointment with his hygienist. I had the appointment with his nurse, and as I say, I adore his nurse. So I trust her absolutely, and I think she's wonderful, and I think he's great. Hi, Sheila. So I was telling a little bit of my story of yesterday, and the red area had gone all the way. Yes, I know. I kept saying I don't want to risk sepsis, and everybody kept ignoring me like I was stupid. I dodged a bullet. I pray to God I actually dodged a bullet. I hope it's okay. I hope it's now dealable, and I'm hoping that I don't have to worry. I had to get off the Keflex because the reaction I had last night, I took it again while Meredith was still here, and hi Paulette, because they wanted he wanted to take the tube out, and it still had been draining quite a bit. Now I realize what happened. Hi Sabine. I was waiting for somebody to take it out, and it kept leaking, and I knew something was wrong. And it was starting to look sludgy and pussy, and I said, this has got to come out of me. And I called his office actually the day before because I was really worried. And I told the nurse everything because I figured this way, in case they need to do anything, by the time I get there, they'll be prepared. And I think it was helpful to them. She gave me a huge packet of the dressing things, and it was very, very terrifying. And you know, I really feel as if I'm surrounded by angels. A holiday, exactly. So here it was, the holiday weekend. I was terrified, and when I told Linda that I was really worried and I thought I needed to get to the emergency, I said, something is wrong. And she started making fun of me, and she told the nurse, oh, she needs to go to emergency. She thinks she's dying, which I thought was amusing because Linda's a hypochondriac. So Linda could do that, but not me. I don't do that. Exactly. Sepsis is dangerous. I know that. So I thank God. So he took out as much of the fluid as he could. He told me to keep working on it, and I have an appointment to meet with him again in 2 weeks. So I will be there in 2 weeks. And he said we'll come up with a plan then for what we're going to do. Once again, I've got my fingers and toes crossed. I pray that all goes well. I guess we never know. They switched my antibiotic last night. Couldn't do the Keflex anymore. Not only did I have that weird reaction again, first as if I was drunk, then as if I needed to fall over or sleep again, but fall over. And the third thing I had was that my tongue felt thick, and I felt like I couldn't speak. Exactly, my tongue felt really weird. So I kept telling that to Meredith, and Meredith said she used to work in a hospital, and she said to me, that's not good. And she said, and I started to itch. Aw, thanks. Well, you know, it's really terrible, and it's interesting. And the doctor had suggested, he said to me, you have a voice. He said, use it. He said, because people like you can bring awareness to the public. And it really, really is. Yeah, I believe that it is an allergy with the Keflex. And I wasn't itching terribly, but I was itching all over my body. It started out just on my arm, and then it was on my head, and then it was on my face, and then it was on my other arm. And I wasn't even aware that I was scratching, but Meredith noticed it. And as I say, the area of redness and heat on my leg where he had done the manipulation, yeah, I know. And but what he said was that I should talk about it, write an article about, do something, because people need to know, and they need to know that it's wrong and it has to change. when I told him some of the things that I went through, where, I missed a few of the remarks, so bear with me for a minute. Yeah, no, I had told earlier that Meredith called me on my cell phone when I was on my way back from the doctor's office. So it was, ouch, my leg, I'm getting like sharp shooting pains. Yes, I was very, very concerned. So I didn't want to take it again. And I thought after I took that one, there's no way I was going to take another one. At least with Meredith here, I felt like there was somebody who was here who would actually tell somebody something, because I could tell them from here to tomorrow and it won't change anything. They won't do anything about it. So that was my issue. Let me tell you something. The doctor said to me, he said, I can't even deal with this stuff because it makes me crazy. Robin, you're right. You do need somebody to advocate for you, because if you don't have somebody to manage things for you, you're on your own. You are 100% on your own. So it's like, okay, I don't know how we're going to make this happen. Totally forgot what I was going to say. Totally forgot. That was upsetting for me, Gail. It really was. And there was no reason for it. No reason whatsoever. It was just not necessary. So let's see. Yeah, he said, thank you. He said he can't deal with it because it raises his blood pressure and it gets him crazy. When I showed him, I was going to make a video, by the way, and I was going to call it Watch My Dirty Video, because I figured lots of people would watch it, but then again, are they the people I want on my channel? I have an area across my abdomen that is filthy dirty, because every time, oh, okay, Gail, every time I have had a shower, they keep it covered or don't let me do anything because I had the stitches there and the staples. So I have like a stripe of dirt. It's really lovely. And of course, I didn't have sterile conditions whatsoever. Oh, don't worry about it, Gina. You can check it afterwards. It'll be up there, so it'll be available for you. But I was really very, very concerned about it. And I said to the doctor yesterday, what happens if if this is gone, if all the fluid is gone, it's absorbed back into my body, everything is terrific, and then it comes back? He said, it's a good question. He said, and I can't tell you that it won't, but he said, if it does happen again, we'll deal with it. And he said he could open where the wound was, because the wound had scared the hell out of me. There was an area in the wound that was very juicy looking, as I had said to the doctor the first day. And then it turned to very pussy looking to me. They said it was not pus, they said it was slough. Whatever it was did not look good. And as I say, the redness on my thigh, it's hot and it's like I had a bad sunburn. It's not good. Anyway, when I got off the Keflex last night, because I said I'm not taking this drug anymore. Hi. Yes. They put me on doxycycline. Oh, thanks, Gina. I have to tell you, Meredith helped me hugely yesterday by going to that surgical supply store and sitting in the chairs and laying down in the chairs and getting me pictures so that I could see. And it was a good thing, because it was not at all what I expected it to be. The cheapest chair was not terrible. I have to tell you, yes, this is a horrible thing. And that's why I definitely am going to do a video or some videos about it, because the public has got to know. There are people who put their elderly parents who may not be able to fight for themselves into, oh God, I thank God she did. What happens to them? And the children don't know there are these issues. It's horrible. So I may do a series on it because I want people to know, and Sheila told me last night that that was not the case at all down there. It was a wonderful place. So I will put a caveat in it that your experience may be different. You know, your mileage may vary, but just be aware that these things happen in case you run into it. It is not unusual. It is not uncommon. And you really don't want to deal with something that could be life-threatening. I mean, I was here all weekend on a holiday weekend thinking I needed to go to the emergency room, and they were looking at me like I had lost my mind, and they were just poo-pooing it, and they were yesing me to death. It was only after one of the nurses saw that there was a huge... I have to tell you something, Robin. It is so important. Patient advocacy is so important. I know that I'm going to have some kind of a role in this if God is willing, and if I, survive all of this stuff and get into a better place. People need help. They really need help. And not only has the experience been horrible for me, but a lot of other people here. And I don't want anybody else to go through it with at least having some kind of awareness of what they're letting themselves in for. Yes, it's horrible, horrible, Robin. And when you see people sitting here, I mean, I especially when somebody first comes in and they don't realize it's going to be like this, and they yell for the nurses and they yell for the, what do they call them? They don't like to be called aides. The CNA, so it's a certified nursing assistant, and nobody comes, and you hear them yelling and yelling and yelling. My heart cries for them because I felt the same. I didn't do it, but I felt the same way in the beginning. And who wants that? People are here in frightening enough conditions because they've lost some of their capabilities on being independent. Yeah, she is. She really is. She has not been in a good mood lately. She told me she didn't know how much time she was going to spend coming to my house. So it is so bad, and people don't realize. And the funny thing is, I knew I was coming to a rehab. Subacute rehab is what they said. Sounded good to me. I mean, I definitely preferred being in the acute in-hospital. Before cameras, I might have caught what they did to her. It is so scary that there are no words for it. Because I think not only, it's interesting. I talk to my brother just about every day. My brother is a psychologist. And he said to me the other day, he said, what you're talking about, Jerry, it is benign neglect. He said they're not malevolent, but it's benign neglect. They just don't care. But the problem is, so many times when people come into these places, especially the elderly, if they're compromised in their mental capacity at that point, people find out that the patient got worse, had to go back to the hospital, or died. And they attribute it to the problem when in fact it may not be. It may be the neglect they got. Maybe there was something that could have been done that could have made it better. Maybe not. So I'm certainly not saying that, but it could be. They do become desensitized. You're absolutely right. And it's something that I know that I need to do something about. I'm not sure what yet, because I don't know how much weight I will have, but I have a channel. I have a voice, and I am going to shout it from the rooftops. I will never name names. I will just say it's what I have witnessed. Oh, the battery's down to 20%. Here we go. If you can't get something done, speak. Oh, let me tell you something. No, that doesn't work. because yes, they are desensitized to suffering. It, yeah, but it can be in hospitals. I had it at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Memorial Sloan Kettering is a hospital that people talk about from all around the world. People come here from foreign countries to have their surgeries there. Exactly. They want a paycheck, period. That's the end of it. And you are standing in the way of them getting a paycheck. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with care. It's just get me through my week until I can get my paycheck and go home. They may get paid every other week, but whatever it is. I just know that I didn't know. And I never thought of this as, you should pardon the expression, a nursing home. But guess what? It's a nursing home. Because on their stationery, everything they have imprinted, call themselves a nursing home. And I said, oh wow. So had I thought of it as a nursing home, that happens, absolutely, no question about it. And it's disgusting. Sloan Kettering was horrible. It was wonderful for the surgery. The doctors were incredible. The immediate aftercare was incredible. But yes, and you would think if you are in a profession like this, you'd want to make somebody more comfortable. And don't get me wrong, there are staff here that are like that, but they're few and far between, because most of them, they come, I get the feeling sometimes that a lot of them come in to socialize, because they come in, you can ring the bell, you can ding, 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 and they'll be sitting outside your door and having conversation with each other and laughing. That's just the way it is. And it, again, my only purpose for saying any of this is so that if somebody here, or somebody who sees this afterwards, or somebody who sees the follow-up video or videos that I do about this, in which I will strictly talk about this, so that people, I'm going to say things you should know before you yourself go, or before you send a parent or loved one into, yeah, Gina. And I'm so sorry. The only reason exactly, the break room, I don't know where the break room is. The break room seems to be the place where they always go. Because whenever you talk to them and they tell you they can't do something now, they'll do it later. And then you talk to them later and they say, no, I have to go on my break. The break room is a very important place. The patient rooms, not so much. So again, I am praying that all goes well with this. The doctor was concerned. The final thing that the nurse said to me yesterday, okay, I definitely will do that, Robin. It could happen to any of us. It could happen to any of us, and we all need to know about it, because changes have to be made. And I'm not sure how they're going to affect changes because of the pay scale. So everybody's cutting back. Medicare is paying less for things. Insurance, costs go up. I get it. But if the price is patient care, and if the price could be a patient's life, or certainly quality of life at the very least, something has to be done to change it. Doesn't work if the system doesn't work. That's exactly what it is. You are lucky to come out alive. There were a couple of times when I didn't think I would. And I said, oh my God. And I was at one point where I just was ready to give up, because I felt so horrible. And I said, doesn't matter what I do, nothing's making a difference. Meredith stayed here last night till about 11 o'clock at night because I wasn't feeling well and because this thing was growing. And just to have, the place I'm in is supposed to be a subacute rehab place, where, by the way, I must say, the reviews for this place, as my brother had said, he said, but I don't get it, Jerry. The reviews for the place were 5 stars. I said, you're right. If you look at the professional reviews, but look at patient or patient family reviews, whole different ballgame. The reviews are horrific. I have to tell you, funny, my doctor said, and now I was nervous to leave because you know, taking antibiotics and not knowing if I'm doing the right thing, not knowing if the infection is getting worse or not. But the truth is, I could wait here for hours and maybe not get the right information anyway. So I guess it's just as scary. I need that medical alert button. I haven't gotten it yet, and that is terrifying me at the moment. So that's an absolute today. My brother's going to kill me if he calls me today and finds out I didn't do it, because I have to do the expedited shipping as it is in order to get it on Saturday. So I've got my fingers and toes crossed. It may limit my choices, but I definitely have to do that. They don't have contracts, thank God. So if I have to get the wrong one, I can always change it later on. The criteria for me is that it has to be serviceable for me inside the house and outside the house. Yeah, I think that that can very possibly be the truth, but there was so many negative reviews. They said if you have to go to the bathroom or you need something taken care of, forget it. You can wait forever. I have to make sure I have a phone with me at all times, which means I need to constantly be plugging in. Maybe it's time for, I don't want to spend the money unnecessarily though. Maybe it's time for me to upgrade my phone because, or at least get the new battery. Somebody had suggested a new battery. So maybe I'll try that. I need to do something so that I feel safe, but I will also always have the button, hopefully. Now, one of the services that's strictly digital, it doesn't have a base station, so it works by GPS on a Verizon network. It was in one of the top services available, so I'm hoping it's good. Yeah, the director of nursing, right? Yeah, I actually had spoken to the floor nurse who just supported her nurses on the floor, and I got absolutely nowhere with that. But yeah, you're right, I should have spoken to the director of nursing. But so my doctor said to me yesterday, because he said to me, are you going to be able to manage when you're home? I said, I don't know. I said, all I can do is try. And he said to me, if I were you though, he said, get the hell out of there. He said, that is not a good place for you to be. They're not caring for you. They're just not. The rehab part of it, Sabine, is wonderful. The rehab, the physical therapists are wonderful, and they work very hard. And they're supportive, and they try to help the people, most of them. Like anybody else, listen, it's not 100%, but most of them, and some are better than others, like people, like life. But I've gotten very lucky with it. I am totally blessed with that aspect of it. That's exactly what it is. It's a nursing home with extra physical therapy. And that is, yeah, at this point, I have to go home because they deem that I am ready to go home. So it is what it is. So I'm going to plan on being home on Friday, and I pray to God that I have an easy solution to everything that for my immediate needs. I was not thrilled with the chair options, to be honest with you. I was not thrilled at all because I had I was trying to clean off my tray here just in case, whoops, just in case they need I have to move this. They need to bring lunch. I don't think it's lunchtime yet, but just in case. The chairs, I had a different expectation of them. I expected one. Oh, there's no question about it. And you become clear about that. There was a perception of an issue once. No issue, mind you, just a perception of one. I had asked for a walk since 9 o'clock in the morning because at the time I had to walk with somebody, and she kept telling me she didn't have time, she didn't have time, she didn't have time. Her shift was about to be over and she still didn't have time. So I know it's hard. But ultimately, no, he won't be there when I get home, unfortunately. He was supposed to be calling me soon to let me know when he is coming, but as of now I have no idea. I have reached out to him several times, but I don't have a definitive answer at this point. So I don't know, but I will definitely find out, and I'll let you know that as well. Okay, I'm starting to get longer than I had intended to, so I'm going to cut it short here. I will try to come back to you this afternoon, probably, oh, I guess maybe between 2:30 and 3:30. So if that works out, come join me, and I'll have a little more information, and by then I should have the cane unboxed, so I'll show you that as well. And I appreciate every word of advice all of you have given me. Every bit of help that you have given me has been wonderful. You know, it's really funny. When I found out that it is a mess, yeah, there are no words for it. I got my shower. No, I got my shower head. I noticed it. I'll post a picture on my Facebook page. The head nurse was no help whatsoever. She was defending her crew. That's what it was about. She was defending her crew. It had nothing to do with the patients. I guess they want their staff to be comfortable so their life is easier. I don't know. Whatever it was, it didn't help. Okay, I'm hoping I'm going to have more information this afternoon, and I will come back and see you then. And the one last thing I wanted to let you know, and Sheila, if you're still hanging in there, did you get the pictures that I sent you? I sent it from the other phone. Thanks, Rita. I had my neighbor go in because Meredith wanted to go into my house and do some cleaning. I've never met her before. I didn't want her walking into what could be the biggest mess in the world. Yeah, it is what it is. I know, aren't they remarkable, shall we say? So after Sheila had suggested I might want to show the pictures to Meredith to see if she still wanted to go in. And I did. And I said, listen, you can back out. I'm not going to force you to go into the house, which is going to look disgusting. I don't want you to face that, but looking at the pictures got me really depressed. Yes, remarkable. So I have to figure out how I'm going to deal with all of this. I have not heard from Meredith this morning, so thanks a lot. Today, for the first time, the red area is starting to diminish a little bit. I am on the doxycycline, as I said, 100 milligrams. I'm going to be on it twice a day. I think they're keeping me on the 100 milligrams, though. Oh, and by the way, if I should get chlamydia or malaria, I'm covered. So that's all good. Or acne. So, all right, that's it for now. I'm off. I will see you this afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.